This is the incredible story of Flight MH-77, the shadow plane. On May 2014, a Boeing 777-200ER took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia. The plane was en route to Beijing with 239 people on board. But that is not the interesting part. What is interesting is that the plane was never seen again. Air traffic control tried to contact the pilot of the plane after it disappeared from radar, but there was no response. They tried for a while and then gave up when they thought the plane had crashed into the ocean. Now here's where things get weird. 5 years after the plane went missing, radar in the area picked it up again. But how can this be possible? Either the plane had been flying under the radar, or it was just now being detected. It was only flying at 10,000 feet, which is way below the required cruising altitude. The plane was then detected all the way down to 2,400 feet. That's even lower. And if the plane had been flying at such a low altitude, why didn't the radar pick it up 5 years earlier? Why would it have gone undetected? All these questions were swirling around the investigators' heads. A search and rescue mission was launched immediately, but it soon turned into a recovery mission. The plane was found in one piece at a depth of 660 feet. This was surprising because planes don't stay in one piece when they crash into the water. It was completely intact. No part of it had broken off. When the divers entered the plane, they realized that all the seats had been removed, but there was no sign of any struggle or no life jackets anywhere. It was as if the passengers had disembarked the plane willingly. The divers then moved to the cockpit, and that's when they found the black boxes. They played the recordings, but what they heard sent shivers down their spines. There were voices in the cockpit, but they weren't speaking English, nor were they speaking any other known language. They sounded like gibberish. Was this some kind of code? Had the pilots been trying to communicate with someone? Some entity unknown to man? The investigators couldn't make heads or tails of it. It's important to mention that the plane was traveling over the Indian Ocean, an area that's almost uninhabited. The closest major city was Perth, Australia, which is 1,300 miles away. The plane's disappearance was a mystery that stumped the best minds in the world. Some said the plane was hijacked, but the FBI claimed that there was no evidence to support this theory. Others believed that the pilots committed suicide, but that too was ruled out. The plane had enough fuel to stay in the air for several hours after it disappeared from radar. Did the pilots really want to commit suicide after burning all that fuel? It just didn't make sense. What's even more bizarre is that the plane was declared lost with 239 people on board, yet no bodies were ever recovered. Was there anyone on board the plane when it went missing in 2014? If so, why were they never seen again? And if there was nobody on board, then who was flying the plane? And why did the radar pick it up 5 years later? These are the questions that still plague the investigators to this day. But we think we have an answer. We found out that on the day the plane went missing, it made an emergency landing on an island that's part of the Chagos archipelago. Satellite images show that the plane was indeed on the island. But how did it get there? Did it crash land or was it a controlled descent? We don't know. But what's even weirder is that the plane was then refueled and it took off again. The plane stayed in the air by making several refueling stops at various locations. It's unclear why the plane kept flying. Who was in control of it? Was it a ghost flight? One thing's for sure. The plane was never truly gone. It was flying around the world for years after it disappeared, perhaps with something or someone on board. But who knows? Maybe it was a ghost flight. Maybe the plane was never meant to be found. What do you think happened to Flight MH-77? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories.